Shalom, all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushua, Ba'ashem HaRakakadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone that rule well. Shalom to the brothers doing the work of centering truth. Was meditating on this because it got mentioned in the camp, and it's something that you have with a lot of, these reprobates that you have where they've crawled up and they've basically come and seen this truth as something, for them to glory in, for them to uplift themselves from, and don't realize, the true nature of what it is. But then it's even with, the means by which the truth is pushed out there, because it's what, brothers on YouTube, brothers on street corners. So it's a thing where it's, we're not going into universities. We're not on in movie theaters or whatnot, on a big screen. It's something where this truth is something you find in, a humble setting, and that, layers on top of the men that are brought in and the means by which they're brought in. So 1 Corinthians 1:18, it says, "For the preaching of the cross is to them that perish foolishness, but unto us which are saved is the power of the Most High. For it is written, I will destroy the wisdom of the wise, and I will bring to nothing the understanding of the prudent." And the word, that we're teaching, that's something that to the people in the world is really just of no, worth or value to them. People might, read and be like, oh, that sounds interesting, or, they might give ear for a moment, but they're not really thinking on it as a matter of like life and death, especially when you deal with Jake in the world. Their focus is their mindset is meditating on things of the world, carnal matters. They're not really, they're not, the majority of them, it's been coded for them to hear it and, for it to essentially fall on deaf ears. But then what does it say? Where is the wise? Where is the scribe? Where is the disputer of this world? Have not the Most High made foolish the wisdom of the world? Yeah, the Most High has made foolish the wisdom of the world. Because what is it that everyone's, glorying in now? They're basically glorying in everything that's been brought out by Esau Edom, by the so-called white man. Everything is established. That's become the root of the world's wisdom. And it's something that you kind of, you look at and it's really got all the worldly kind of dressing around it to make it seem elaborate. This guy can go on university stages. This guy, like what Esau's established as his truth, essentially, his wisdoms. A big part of how that's pushed out is Hollywood. You'll have things stated, and then what you'll have these big grandiose like Hollywood movies and whatnot, which will build up and basically solidify on that in the minds of the people. You have like through the Renaissance, a lot of what Esau established, with crucifying the image of the Heavenly Father, Son of Yahweh Shai, was what through those artworks that he put out. He utilized, what at the time was one of the key methods was, through the art. And then that is solidified in people's mind to now. Anytime people, talk about, well, with London, you got a bunch of galleries and whatnot, and you have just like the National Gallery and whatnot, where you can go in there and you'll see a lot of artworks, and a lot of them will be from those like Renaissance artists, where they've depicted certain scenes from the Bible, where it might be like Abraham, with Isaac, where he's preparing to sacrifice him. It might be with Yahweh Shai at various points in his life which are mentioned in the scriptures, which you see, various moments and whatnot, and then those things will be, you know, put forth, and they will utilize to what, to blot out, you know, the true image of Yahweh Shai. And that's what, you know, these are the things of the world. But then what's, you know, the reality of it is it's based on lies. It's based on falsehoods. And that's how everything's kind of stacked on Esau's systems. He's, you know, built the baseline, the foundation of the lies, then everything stacks on top, which then you end up, you know, in a world where it is now, where people are parenting and believing, you know, madness, foolishness, like it's truth. But then it says what, verse 21, for after that in the wisdom of the Most High, the world by wisdom knew not the Most High, it pleased the Most High by the foolishness of preaching to save them that believe. Yeah, the world basically is in a state now where what, you know, who the Most High is, who His Son is, who His people are, you know, what He's looking to do on the planet Earth. Those things are a mystery. People are out here thinking that when, you know, Yahweh Shai makes his return, one, they're thinking he's gonna be some white geezer, and two, they're thinking he's coming, you know, to spread love and everything, and beg everyone, please let me love you. Like, that's, you know, what everyone has in their mind. But then that's the job that's been, you know, done over the world, and that's how Yahweh Hashem Yahushai Hashem HaKadosh desires it to be. Because what, it's you know, for people in the world, the opportunities there, and for those of the elect, those who are chosen, those who've been given, you know, the ears to hear, they'll be able to hear it and give heed to the word. Like, hold on, you hear it, you hear the word, and it just hits, and then you're like, yo, that makes sense. Why did I think this? You know, in the world you'd have thought of it as Jesus, but obviously you know his name's Yahweh Shai, and you'd think like, why did I think this Jesus was a white guy? But then you go through every form of media, every form of artwork that's pushed out on a global scale. You can have a bunch of these, you know, white images up there, and then, you know, it's not a mystery. It's something that's been, you know, established. But it also says it pleased the Most High by the foolishness of preaching to save them that believe. And yeah, by the foolishness of preaching. Because, you know, you have men on street corners where it's like you would have gone up and been like, because even for me, I remember I came in, it was you know, the brothers were out there. It was my brother went up like a few weeks before and then was telling me about, I watched a few videos. I was like, okay. Then I was like, let me go see what it's saying. I went there, I sat there, I was, you know, there for hours. Then you're just like, damn, this is mystifying. This is hard. This is real. And then you start, you know, watching the videos, reading the scripture, and you're like, damn, hold on. Like, it was clear like this. But then what? It's that's through the foolishness of preaching. It's something that you know, just man on street corners of no renown as far as, you know, within the world. But then that's how the Most High gets down. You can have it where it's just, you know, and by any means He desires, then, you know, the elect can be roused and woken up. But that's, you know, that's the reality of it. Because what does it say? For the Jews require a sign, and the Greeks seek after wisdom. But we preach Hamashiach crucified, unto the Jews a stumbling block, and unto the Greeks foolishness. And yeah, there's, you know, in that time the Jews required a sign, the Greeks seek after wisdom. And then you have, you know, you go into Acts, you have like Mars Hill, where they have these, you know, supreme debates. And the thing with those debates is just, you know, foolishness, like layering on foolishness. It's these guys are going into, you know, deep mystical realms of folly. But then what's, you know, as far as with, you know, the truth is something that's simple. So they're looking for something, you know, special. They're looking for something with certain kind of shine or luster to it or appeal to it. But then it's, you know, the truth is the truth, man. And then, you know, the simplicity of Yahweh Shai is really a stumbling block to most of these men. Because why? It's, you know, they're thinking like, oh, how could it be, you know, X, Y, Z? or even you have the answers for them, but they'll be like, no, how could that, how could that be? Bring it out from the scriptures, and it's it basically there's been a block put on them. There's a block put on a guy. What can you do? But we preach Hamashiach crucified, unto the Jews a stumbling block, and unto the Greeks foolishness. But unto them which are called both Jews and Greeks, Hamashiach the power of the Most High and the wisdom of the Most High, because the foolishness of the Most High is wiser than men, and the weakness of the Most High is stronger than men. And yeah, we're really playing in the palm of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. That's the reality of it. As far as anything that's desired or intended for us, we basically have no option but to follow through with whatever that is. We all have our roles to play. Like Proverbs 16:4, the wicked was made for the day of evil. The wicked was made that they've basically had their purpose set to them. They have to fulfill it. That's why in this time you got Jake out here in the world being like, why doesn't he love us? You now in the UK you got these migrant protests and whatnot and riots going down. Like, oh, why don't you just want to have us here? We're just here, blah blah. Bro, it's as far as with these people don't like you, man. That's the real. They don't fucking like you. They're not gonna like you. Like what? Just hold that. That's the reality of it. Because that's how the Most High set up. As far as for Jacob and Esau, they were gonna butt heads. They weren't gonna be as one in accord. They're gonna just be like, okay, yeah, no, wait, no, actually. No, we actually love, these blacks. We actually want them in the country. And, they might be saying that, but then that's the thing is what you're unaware of is those high pressure situations incoming where all that's going to be found to be falsehoods. It's all going to be found to be lies. The reality of it's going to come down to it's going to be on top. You're going to have that time of Jacob's trouble where everyone's going to be tried. It's going to be on top. And then, like, imagine now you've already got all those racial tensions boiling over, and it's not even on the point where it's man is struggling to eat. Man have no electricity, no water, no nothing, no resources. It's lawless out here. It's this is whilst the police are still going to come and crack heads. Meanwhile, then what? When you have it go to open season, then what? It's going to be immense. But it says what? For ye see your calling, brethren, how that not many wise men after the flesh, not many mighty, not many noble are called. Yeah, so not many wise men after the flesh, not many noble, not many mighty are called. So not many of renown, and that just makes me meditate on Gideon, where you had the numbers that would basically take down a heathen that was slowly whittled down, and it was done why? So that Jake wouldn't glory in thinking, oh, we're the ones doing this. It was so they would know it was Yahweh Hashem Kadash that basically pulled it off. And that's the reality of it. Like with even coming into this, it's a calling. It's basically, the Spirit had to work with you to be like, okay, yeah, draw you in. Because it says what? Not many mighty, not many noble are called, but the Most High have chosen the foolish things of the world to confound the wise. The Most High have chosen the weak things of the world to confound the things which are mighty. So yeah, the foolish things of the world, like the foolishness of preaching. You got people out here, they print books, they got TV shows, documentaries, movies, etc. They got people learning every word they ever said when they were alive and whatnot. And we've got a wisdom that just completely outstrips them. They're gonna get decimated as far as their understanding of the world. But then it's within the world, what we're saying is going to be of no value. But then what? That's why it's like it's very few that come from, you know, some kind of renown. If, you know, the word was being pushed out by uh, like just top entertainers, politicians, etc. Every Jake that was in a high up lauded position was bringing out the truth. Then, you know, it will have much, you know, as far as in the world, it would be more appealing, just because they're like, oh, but Thingy said it. Okay, well, oh wow. But then what, you know, the Most High is basically set up where what is his name that's going to be, you know, glorified. His son's name is going to be glorified in that time. So everyone knows it's not just like, oh, you know, those great, you know, worldly so-called great men that made the thing happen. It's nice. It's something that happened through the Spirit. It was something that needed to be enacted by Yahweh Hashem Yahushua Hashem HaKadosh. So this is what, but the Most High have chosen the foolish things of the world to confound the wise, and the Most High have chosen the weak things of the world to confound the things which are mighty, and the base things of the world, the things which are despised, have the Most High chosen, yea, and things which are not, to bring to naught things which are. And it said, yeah, the base things of the world, the things which are despised. And when Yahweh Shah was on the scene, what was, you know, who was he with? Publicans and sinners, those that have need of salvation. And it's the same for, you know, now. Now we're basically, you know, desperately in need of salvation. As far as for anything for our own might, bro, there's no way in hell that you know, I'm receiving salvation. Speak for myself, I'm receiving salvation off my own back. I fervently require Yahweh Shai to have any chance. Mercy needs to be had, and then it's, you know, that grace that we get through Yahweh Shai is necessary, because otherwise it's just like, yo, it's I can't eat, like it's not gonna happen. That's the thing, things which are despised, because that's, you know, the reality of how men are out here, despised. People see on the street corners like, damn, it's like, what's wrong with these guys? They think you're bugged out. They think like, what happened? Like, what happened in your life for you to end up like this? But that's how the Lord had it set up. That's the Spirit, so that we can't just be like, okay, yeah, it's an easy path. It's just a cruise through the truth, because it's the same thing for the men that came before. Like it says in Jeremiah 28:8, what the prophets that came before prophesied against, you know, great kingdoms. They were basically coming against, you know, the powers that be at the time. And then people don't like that. It's the same thing now. Tell people America's going to be destroyed, they're getting upset. Thinking, but I got a holiday planned at like fucking, you know, Disneyland next year or some shit. They're getting upset. They're thinking, but I want to see Hollywood. I was meant to go Boston. You know, people are invested in these things. But then, you know, that's how the Lord had it set up. That whole dynamic. And that's, you know, going to manifest being in the truth. That's a reality. Because it says what? That no flesh, verse 29, that no flesh should glory in his presence. And yeah, you know, as men in the flesh, you know, you got no means, you know, to try and glory yourself. And that's what a lot of these, you know, men that come in trying to build up, you know, some kind of, you know, glory unto themselves don't realize. Or, you know, we're basically here as you know, we have a job to do. We're servants. We're essentially in a state where if we're not fulfilling our purpose, if we're not ensuring that, you know, the sheep are being fed, that what is desired of us by our Shai is being fulfilled, then we essentially serve no purpose. And then you can just be cast out off the back of that. If you're thinking about building your own self up or being like, I wanna try and have, that's not gonna, in the long run, you're gonna be weeded out. And that's the thing as well. Is the time of Jacob's trouble is going to be that ultimate test. Anyone that's not truly entrenched, not truly settled and grounded within this thing, it's going to be made evident. And that's the the inverse of the current world. Right now, everyone is in that mindset of glorying in themselves. That's a big aspect. Everyone's looking for some kind. That's why social media, self-worship, all these things are now popping off. They're at their height. Because why? Everyone's worshipping themselves, but all that's going to be found to be false. This is the whole dynamic that's been established by Esau at present, and it plays out at present. You can get people, making money, living a life, just glorying in themselves, living, by their lusts. But then what's going to happen? Reality's gonna catch them slipping, man. But yeah, I'll leave it there. Shalom. Shalom. Yeah, Shalom.